Want to win a big government project? Better hope you're in a union shop. Uncle Sam now enforcing the president's executive order that steers federal contracts to union-friendly companies. But nearly 9 out of 10 workers are not in a union. And Gary Kay, you say that's why this rule is bad for jobs in America.
Well, it looks like unions are getting their money's worth. Look, Charles, 85% of construction workforce is non-unionized, but now they're telling that 85% to take a hike. Whatever happened to a better bid or a better company who should construct something better? Whatever happened to the level playing field that this administration had talked about before they came in? All they're doing now is giveaways to the good buddies, total favoritism, total cronyism, and it's going to hurt the construction industry that's already on its back.
But you have to admit, though, it is transparent. Scott.
Quite.
Scott,
at least they're telling us.
Economically, though, what would this... Listen, here's the thing. We had the stimulus plan. It was construction, shovel-ready projects. It was huge. And yet, unemployment amongst construction workers, 25%. So economically, what is this going to do for that industry?
Right, isn't that funny, Charles? And then when those things kind of dried up, now the construction industry is actually adding jobs, you know, once the government kind of got out of the way there. And it's exactly it. I mean, the economic impact is terrible. It's higher costs, lower profits, and at the end of the day, fewer jobs by those very corporations. And so it doesn't work out well. The fact that the union, non-unionized is so high already tells you that it's best to leave it the way it is. If we throw unions in here, it's going to be a bad thing.
This exemplifies, though, Charles, something even more dangerous that we've talked about repeatedly on the show, and that is the vicious cycle that's developing where the unions enrich the Democrats and the Democrats enrich the unions. You grow the unionized workforce in government. Right. They get more money, and then they give that money to the Democrats, and the Democrats give it back with more power. You were seeing that. This looks like just, again, a slice of what is card check with a mustache on. It's card check in disguise. It is a way for unions to get more power. There are more union workers in the government overall than in private
We were
sector.
getting tired of the lipstick analogy.
Thank you.
Lee, I mean, is there anything about this you find fair?
Well, look, okay, these are highly controversial, these project labor agreements, and it's actually surprising this hasn't gotten more headlines up.
It is surprising.
To be truthful. But, you know, in theory, there is a positive benefit. They're supposed to mean that these contracts go to, the jobs go to people in the community so that it supports the local community. The people that work there, live there, they spend money in the community, all that stuff. The problem with that logic, though, is that in a job market like we have, there's people everywhere. I mean, in a tight job market, you can't find enough people. So it's well, not only that, though, what if people live in the community don't know how to build a high-rise building? Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not defending them. I'm not defending them.
The guy who's unemployed works at the supermarket and say, okay, now you're in a construction job?
This is not just highly controversial. It is wrong. It is just absolutely wrong to crowd out the private market and crowd out the free markets. It is nothing more than favoritism, handing over because you gave me money for a campaign. If George Bush was doing it, I can tell you there would be some cable stations having a coronary right now, but nobody's reporting this. It's just absolutely amazing to getting away with it.
Well, most economists that actually looked at this, there's arguments on both sides, and they find that mostly it comes down to political issues, and that's really it. So.
Well, hold on one second, though, Scott, because Gary Kay brings up a great point. Are we continually moving away from the free market to the point where, you know, it gets back to the original issue, people just giving up on this system because it seems like the White House is going to determine winners and losers in this society, period?
That's right, Charles. It seems like we are kind of moving that direction, and hopefully, you know, the White House runs out of a little bit of time here. But, right, I mean, and look at two recent examples, airlines and autos. How did those unionized areas work out for you? Not very good. So that's just a great blueprint of how the unions will work for you.
Well, autos were also horribly mismanaged.
Well, speaking of autos, really quickly, the Wall Street Journal editorial page pointed this out. Andy Stern, the outgoing head of the Service Employees International Union, gave an interview to the Journal a month after President Obama was elected. He had his list of priorities, massive stimulus for both the economy and the auto industry, universal health care, and a card check bill to make it easier to unionize. Guess what's left? And if it's not called card check, it's going to come piecemeal, and we're already seeing it.
And, of course, Andy Stern, the #1 visitor to the White House since President Obama's been in there. All right, guys, thanks a lot on this one. Hiking taxes on gas by 15 cents a gallon to pay for a new global warming bill. The latest D.C. money grab that has the folks at